RBI governor has yesterday told that the retail inflation has, become uncomfortably and unacceptably high, and that he's also, proposing an idea to increase the repo rate, like by 50 basic points. So how do you see this, sir?
I think the RBI governor is probably behind the curve. I think if he's saying it, it must be that the numbers are really bad and his data, which he can see, which we can't see, must be even worse than what we can see. Because you see, the job of the RBI is to act independent of the government and manage monetary policy at arm's length. The RBI today, particularly under this governor, who is not an economist but a former bureaucrat, has become like an extension of the government of India. They are focused on maintaining the market levels, on providing dividends, of managing the dollar-rupee ratio, this, that. They have half a dozen mandates that are not strictly within the monetary policy that was envisioned as the sole mandate. I have no problem if they're brilliant enough to do 6 things, but the problem is these are all conflicting objectives. When you start taking up conflicting objectives, you can't do your original job right or well. Right? So in that sense, I would agree that retail inflation is very high. I would agree that the RBI is behind the curve. I would agree that they have to do dramatic things. I would agree that a 50 basis point hike may be necessary. He has better data than me. But I would preface all of that with saying the RBI has not been properly focused on its sole objective of monetary policy and inflation management, and has extended its scope of activities to other things that compromised its independence and its ability to work on its primary objective without conflict of interest.
So from what you're talking, I can understand that you're telling that basically all the independent institutions are in some way intruded.
Completely.
By an external factor.
Yeah, that's from the Election Commission to the RBI to the CBI to the ED to you pick any institution. And you see, what most people don't realize, at least I think, at least within the BJP right-wing ecosystem, don't realize, that while you may see this as a short-term gain because somehow you think your party, your government, your prime minister now sits supreme, it is sowing the seeds of destruction for the country.
When we talk about GST, like you're someone who are against the idea of GST itself. So, but when you talk about the GST Council, so apart from the the council and its under its formation, so do you think there's any flaw with the functioning of the council, like the execution part I'm talking about? Is it?
Look, I think there are many flaws. I don't want to say this again because I get accused of all kinds of things. Apart from politics, I'm saying even when the UPA conceived of it, the GST had all kinds of problems with it. It wasn't that easy and it wasn't that clear it was good. I'll say one very good thing and I'll say one very bad thing. The very good thing is once the council is convened and everybody is seated in the room, the Honorable Union Finance Minister runs that meeting as impartially and as neutrally and as graciously as is possible. Everybody gets a chance to speak. Everybody gets to speak as long as they want. They don't cut anybody back. She's always courteous. Everybody's voice is heard. Every reasonable issue is taken up. All those are the positives. Mind you, the agenda is not set by collective decision. It's only set by the union government. So it's not as if we're going into an open meeting or anything like that. But the bad thing I would say is for a system, no matter the 1,000 faults in it from its conception to its implementation to its execution, it could still be made to work a lot better if we collectively, the council members, the supporting staff, the GSTN, all of us spend more time and attention on this. Problem is, we all have day jobs. I'm a finance minister, I have 4 portfolios. Union Finance Minister has all kinds of, the convener is the revenue secretary, he has a day job. So the very construct that something as important as the GST can be run as a kind of part-time side job by people with such demanding daytime jobs, I think is basically wrong.
Sir, when you talk about TransitCo and the Transport Department, 2 major departments in the in the state of Tamil Nadu, so it's very evident that both of them are under some kind of loss. And will the Finance Ministry intervene and do some kind of relief for them in this matter? Because apparently, of course, both the TransitCo and the Transport Department are under loss, and it's getting it's getting to worse from bad. It's very evident. So what is our plan as far as these 2 departments are concerned? Because both are important departments, both are relevant to public in a huge way. So what are we going to do?
I don't want to go too far beyond my brief, right? I would say that obviously as the finance minister, I have both input and participation. The chief minister has been extremely supportive of the finance department's views and my views. We understand the limitations, and I have spoken about them myself when I was an opposition MLA. So I can't change my position just because my seat changes. I'm not like that. Some people are like that, but I'm not like that. So they're both in need of serious reform. Some of them are already underway, you may have noticed, but I don't want to talk too much about it because it's not my department. But I would say, let me put it this way. 7 years in a row of record, or 8 years in a row of record revenue deficits. When I first came, I thought it would take us 5 years to bring it back to revenue neutral. I'm now convinced that in 3 years, I'll come back to the revenue neutral state we used to be before 2014. That is my department, my job. I get to control every file. So that I'll speak that way. The rest of it, though the finance department has a big say, and though we have also the HR department, which I'm the minister for, has a big say, and we've done a lot of change. We've changed the nature of recruiting, the nature of financing, the nature of project approval. We've changed a lot of things, but I don't want to talk too much about it because it's not my day job. The respective ministers will drive the change. But I say it will not happen in 3 years like it did for us, because there's all kinds of other issues. There's jobs and pensions and unions and all involved. But my best guess is that if not in 5 years, then in 10 years, those are also, the situation can be corrected and brought back to providing people with a free or cost-effective service without losing as much money as we lose now. Because a lot of it is wasteful spending, it's leakage. I don't want to get into it. There's corruption, there's malfeasance, but everybody knows those things. But those need to be fixed by the department ministers. It's not my job, so I won't talk too much about it.
So DMK and poll promises. In fact, right now, a few minutes before you were telling that DMK has fulfilled a lot of poll promises within 1 year duration, but still there is a constant attack from the opposition, especially the BJP, that the DMK has not fulfilled any of its poll promises, like almost half of them.
I don't know about any and all that. I agree. So we both agree we have fulfilled almost half of them. We still got half. I'm saying, and I say it very bluntly, almost anything the Tamil Nadu BJP says is like white noise to me. It's irrelevant because they're not thoughtful, meaningful people that say reasonable things. So I just ignore it. I don't have time. I'm a busy man. I got a lot of work to do. But I say it a slightly different way, and I give you this challenge. You're a reporter. Go and look at the last 2 elections poll promises of the BJP government in Delhi. Look at their poll promises in UP, in Gujarat, and other states. Look at the poll promises of the ADMK in 2006 and 2011. And 2016, 11 and 16. In fact, I'll go one step further. Go and look at the poll promises of the DMK itself in 2006. Okay. I guarantee you that no other chief minister or prime minister in India has fulfilled more poll promises in less time than my chief minister has done. I challenge you. Take that as an assignment. Go and get, and I don't want some random buffoon from the local BJP's word for it. You go and do some real research. Definitely. Right? If you come back and show me somebody who has a better track record, then I'll admit that we need to work faster. But as of today, I'm saying no other chief minister in Indian political history, no other prime minister, at least in the last 25 years, has fulfilled more poll promises in less time than my chief minister. Now, for people like the ones you talked about, who are not even worth, as I say, listening to, for them to say, why has the chief minister, Thiru M.K. Stalin, not done more? This is classic, we say in Tamil, no? 5th class fail ஆனவன் கேட்குறான் ஏன் PhD இன்னும் 2வது PhD வாங்கலன்னு கேட்குறான். என்னங்க இதெல்லாம்? You understand? Should I say it in English for you? It's like somebody who has failed 5th class coming and asking, why does the guy have only 1 PhD? Why doesn't he have a 2nd PhD?
Okay.
Right? Completely irrelevant, random noise coming from people who have zero basis.
So you're telling that they're doing it for the sake of attacking?
What do I know? I mean, listen, I'm an educated, thoughtful person. What do I know goes in the minds of all this riffraff? How do I know who says what?
So my final question, sir. Yeah. So in many of your previous interviews, you have told that many subsidies are going to people who are actually not in need of them.
Not
So,
many, some.
yeah, some. Yeah, not many. Of course, not in a larger level, but in a small level. Yeah. So did we come up with have we come up with a mechanism to distinguish between who needs it and who doesn't need it? Is the work underway?
Yes,
Is the
yes,
work
yes. We're
underway?
doing a lot of things. I mean, I don't want to reveal too much. But the only way we have been able to bring the deficit down, revenue deficit down, and I'm saying we'll get there in 2 years without anybody feeling the pain, and we'll get to implement the CM's, vision of 1,000 rupees per eligible woman head of house, is because we're cutting all this wasteful spending down, right? So if you remember, I'll just give you two public statistics because I don't want to give you the private data. The public statistic, when the CM announced the gold loan waiver, he set aside up to 6,000 crores for it, the gold loan waiver. But in the end, we only found about 4,600 crores of actual eligible people. The rest was a lot of fraud and malfeasance and wrong counting. In fact, I don't want to give the number away, but the original bill that came to us was much, much higher than 6,000 even. So we made the prediction that it won't be more than 6,000 based on preliminary assessment.
And that was much
Then
lesser.
it turned out it
than
was only
that,
4,600. Now just imagine 1,400 crores on one program we were able to save. Compare that, the annual budget, let's say, given to sports development is a few hundred crores. So how much money we've saved, how much more we can do, right? That's why we're able to react like that when the chess comes. Yeah. We allocated originally 80-90 crores. Now we spent 130 crores.
So this will also prevent corruption in many ways.
It should, yeah. That's part of the ambition.